You know the drill. Some more Apple news. Welcome back to the channel. So as always, if you watched me before, I always start off with a couple specials, product specials that Apple's selling right now. And I go through those first, and then I get into the stories or the news. So stay tuned, sit back and relax, and I'm going to get into Apple news here in a second. But first, I'm going to show you a couple different specials that are out there. Let's get into it. All right, the very first one, if you look here, this is one of the best specials I've seen so far. This is on B&H right now. Apple 16.2-inch MacBook Pro M1 Pro chip. Now, it's the M1 chip, 2021 obviously, but right now it's new, $1899 and in stock. So $1899 for a 16-inch MacBook Pro. Again, it's the M1 chip, obviously. It's not the M2 chip, but still a really good deal. All right, number two, I saw this deal. I think it's a pretty good deal. It's not the best, but look over here. It says Apple AirTag 4-pack right now on Amazon. It's on sale at 10% off. So $88.99 for 4 Apple AirTags. I guess I don't know what that comes out to per tag, but pretty cheap, obviously. It says right here, $22.25, I guess. That's pretty cheap for an Apple AirTag. So if you're looking for them, good sale right now. All right, the third product's my favorite, only because I think it's the best Apple deal you can buy, and it always seems to be in the same price range. Right now on Amazon, you can see it's the Apple iPad 9th generation with the A13 Bionic chip. It's the older design, I know, but look at this, $269, 18% off. So $269 gets you a brand new iPad right now. Now it's the 9th generation, but it's still kind of the newest model of this version of it. Obviously, you can kind of upgrade with the Air and all the other stuff that they have out there. That's a lot more money. So if you're looking at picking this up for $269, I think it's a great deal. All right, so this next product is a product you probably never heard of before, but if you're looking for a Thunderbolt 4 dock, they're not cheap, but take a look at my screen here. This is gonna be on Amazon right now, Sonnet Echo 20, it's 20, so it's Thunderbolt 4 Super Dock, but it's got 20 different ports on this thing, and that's why it's so impressive. And let me just show you a diagram. I'm not gonna go through all of these things, but look here. It's got HDMI, it's got 3 USB-C, 2 Thunderbolt 4 ports, it's got Ethernet in it, a 2.5 gigabit, so it's faster than normal. It's got two USB-C, 2 USB-A, 10 gigabit per second ports. It's got actually an audio out left and right, and so you can actually hook up speakers to this thing. And then up here, it's got an SD card reader. It's got so many different ports in this thing, and it's a Thunderbolt 4 dock, so you're gonna get that full speed at least on a couple of those. So it's I think it's a pretty fair deal if you've never heard this company before. The Sonnet Echo 20, I'll have a link in the description. I'm gonna probably research this in a little bit and try to get one out so I can do a video on it, but not a bad deal. All right, so this next one is going to be more about the M3 chip, and I thought this was kind of a cool diagram if you're interested in this kind of stuff. So this is on Mac Rumors. It says Apple's M3 chip, everything we need to know. So I thought if you want to go ahead and pause this is kind of a cool diagram that shows you the difference between the M2 chip and the M3 chip. So the standard is both, here's the M2 chip right here, and it's going to have 8 cores, obviously. It starts with 8 cores of CPU, 10 cores of GPU, and that's the same thing for the M3 chip. So no change there, 8 CPU cores, 10 GPU cores. But the Pro chip's going to go from 10 to 12 CPU cores to 12 to 14. You can see it there. And then it's going to go from 16 to 19 GPU cores to all the way up to 18 to 20. And then on the Max chip, it's going to start with 12 on the M2. It's going to go up to 16 on the M3 for the CPU cores. And then the GPU cores are going to go from 30 or 38 all the way up to 32 or 40. So you can see the little small changes here. And then finally the Ultra, it's going to start, the M2 started with 24 CPU cores. The M3 is going to have 32 CPU cores, so a big difference there. And then the GPU is going to go from 60 or 70 GPU cores all the way up to 64 or 80. So that's a little jump right there. So I thought that was really cool just to show you that little chart that they came out on Mac Rumors. And anyways, you can pause it there and take a look at the differences in the chips. All right, the next story is just a kind of a feel-good story. Look at this. Apple released the first iMac 25 years ago. 25 years ago it came out. Look at it right here. And it says it came out with 4 gigabyte hard drive, right? 32 megabytes of RAM, not gigabytes, megabytes. So Apple finally upgraded the 8 gigs. This is actually lower than that. The first time the 8 gigs go back so far. I think this is the first time it was lower. And then basically a CD drive and 2 USB ports and an Ethernet port. You can see it there though. 25 years ago, what does it say? 1997, I think. 1998, August 15th, 1998. Long time just flies. So pick up what you want and enjoy life. All right, the next story is from Apple Insider. I thought this was kind of cool. It says Apple is unsurprisingly already working on the A19 and the M5 chips. think about this. So the M3 is coming out soon. There's the M4 chip, and this says that they're starting work, and there's some reasons why they figured this out. I'm not going to get into that, but it says that they're starting production, or not production, but starting working on the M5 chip already. I guess we would know that, right, obviously, but they do this so far in advance, many, many years. It's just interesting that they kind of know what that's going to actually be set up like and how many cores and all that stuff right now in 2023, when that might not even come out till 2026. All right, so the next story is from Apple Insider. It says, Apple researching a smart ring for notifications and controlling other devices. It says down here, a newly generated Apple patent says a smart ring would give Apple Watch-style haptic notifications on your finger. Now, we have the watch already. We have the phone in our pocket. Do we really need a watch on top of this? I mean, it's going in here saying that it could basically do, obviously there's health benefits maybe, it can monitor things maybe, but your watch can do that as well. So maybe if you don't have the watch, you can wear the ring. But overall, do we really need additional stuff like this? I mean, it says, obviously if it rings, you might get a notification on your phone, but isn't your phone going to ring? You tell me, do we need a smart ring from Apple? Or do you think this is just a patent that they're kind of exploring? I mean, obviously we don't know if it's coming out, but do we really need this? All right, the next story is very similar in this sense. Look at this. It says future Apple Watch could color coordinate itself automatically. So do we really need this as well? I mean, do we really need all these special features, just because we can't color coordinate our watch with our watch face or our watch band? It says right here that this new kind of patent that might be coming out says that the watch face can color coordinate it with the band. So if you have a colorful band here, the watch face will change to match the band for you. You don't have to do that yourself. And I was thinking, this is hilarious, right? I mean, are they going to be spoon feeding people eventually, as we all stop being able to do just simple tasks? Anyways, it just kind of sums it up at the bottom down here too. This guy basically, the comments come in and says, how incredibly useless. He says, we really do need the ability to design our own faces because all the existing faces suck. So what he's saying is, just let us design our own faces, and then there's no problem, and then don't give us all these kind of spoon-fed things. Just let us do it ourselves. That's all we want, Apple. And I kind of agree. I think we should have less hand-holding in a lot of this stuff. I guess it's a kind of a cool feature, but do we really need it? All right, here's a couple rumors now just to get into. Says, rumors point to the 5 iPhone 15 colors, and so you can see them right here. And actually there's more than, I guess there is 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's 6 there. So I guess it's black and a couple other colors, but there's yellow, this kind of pinkish color, blue, I guess peach, green, and black. And then down here though, this came out also. It says these are the colors that it was tested in development stage, and they list a lot more than 5 here: pink, rose gold, blush gold, green, blue, yellow, orange, and then it says black, midnight, dark, basalt. So if you're looking for a specific color and it's on this list, you have a slim chance of it coming true. But anyways, here's what they think it's going to be right there, that picture. Who knows, and really who cares, because I usually get white or black, although I don't even know if this is white or if this is peach. White might not even be available. All right, a couple new updates on the iPhone 15. I'm going to give you a couple here. This also says iPhone 15 could get braided and color matched USB-C cables. So we think it's going to USB-C, which is a huge win. But then obviously these are the braided cables right here. And if you look in here, there's a couple like little, Instagram posts or Twitter posts that show all these different cables. Who knows if this is what they are? It looks like there's different colors for the different phones that are coming out for the iPhone 15. Now this kind of ties into the next story here, and you can see another picture of it, but it says iPhone 15 charging cable may be long enough to actually use now. So this article says they think, just based on patents and things like that the iPhone 15 cable is going to go from 1 meter long, which is about 3.28 feet, to 1.5 meters, which is about 5 feet long or so. So they're going to extend it, make it braided, make it USB-C, and all those things combined are going to change kind of the cable that your iPhone comes with. Although you're not going to get a charger still. And then finally, kind of the same thing here. It says iPhone 15 may get faster charging speeds, which is actually kind of cool too, up to 35 watts. So it says the switch from Lightning to USB-C charging, all but certain. A new rumor says that Apple will use it to enable 35-watt fast charging. I guess I put in fast there on some iPhone 15 models. But if you notice, it says some iPhone 15 models. So again, if you're going for the base model, they might kind of limit that on you, which is kind of crazy considering it's, it is USB-C. I don't know why they would do that, but in any case, at least some of the phones are going to have up to 35-watt charging, which means faster charging. And then here's another report. I kind of talked about this last week, but it says rumored iPhone 15 price rises echoed in supply chain report. So we're hearing more and more this is probably the case. And the thing that's concerning is it says the iPhone 15 Pro and Max models will cost $100 to $200 more. And they think somewhere in here, I think the standard phones will go up by $100. It says right here, the price increase would be $100 for the iPhone 15 Pro and either $100 or $200 for the Pro Max. So I guess those are the two models that are going to go up, $100 or $200. And when phones are kind of sliding as far as the sales on them, I mean, Apple's doing okay, but less and less phones are being sold. People are holding them longer. Do they really want to raise the cost there? We'll see if this helps them or hurts them. But overall, I think the prices are going up. This next one, if you have a Tesla, I don't, and I don't plan on getting one anytime soon. But if you do have one, it says right here, Tesla iOS app updates let you ask Siri to lock the doors. So I guess, obviously if you have a Tesla, you've noticed that Apple, you can do certain things on your Apple phone, and you can do, it kind of works with Tesla cars in some form or fashion. But they just did an update. So Tesla's latest update for iOS app has added support for Apple's shortcuts, enabling drivers to instruct their vehicles to perform various commands. And then it says right here that to little fanfare to Tesla itself, the change is listed in a single sentence: access your vehicle controls and climate from the Apple Shortcuts app. So it looks like overall down here it's saying that you can say, hey Siri now, and access different parts of your car, different features in your car by using the Siri update, and not just using handheld controls, or that you can actually use Siri basically to generate those commands to the actual Tesla car. So for all it's worth, I guess in theory it's a good idea. I just think of so many things that could go wrong with that, obviously, but it looks like it's happening, and that's just the wave of the future, so get on board. If you have a Tesla car, you can now use Siri to make some changes in it. All right, this next article says, future MacBook Pro screens may kill off the bezel completely, and they show a picture of it here. Now, I guess all they're really doing in here is there's kind of like a, if you look in here, there's a bunch of patents and stuff on how they're going to make it even smaller and smaller. Now, again, I always say to people, it's so small now. I understand maybe getting it a touch smaller, but beyond that, I mean, do we really just need no bezel? I mean, do people really, is that really the main factor when buying a MacBook? I think obviously the design is important in some cases, but I think it's gotten so small, and if it gets a little bit smaller, I'm fine with it. And then we can kind of focus our attention on other things and not just so much always the bezel. All right, this next article, this is again by Apple Insider. It says Apple planning Face ID for MacBook Pro and iMac. So interesting, you can see the diagram here. They did a patent for it and all this other stuff, although it could be way in the future. But that's not what got my attention on this article. I scrolled down and it was funny because I looked at this kind of patent picture here, and they show an iMac here with a notch, right? And they were talking about this. Why in the world, with a bezel this big up here, would an iPad, would an iMac need a notch, all right? That looks ridiculous. I think if they actually came out with one like this and had a notch and had all this space up here, they'd be laughed out of, no one would buy it, I guess. I think maybe the bezels will go down like the last article until there's nothing, and then maybe they'll have the notch on it. But in this picture right here, it doesn't make any sense to have that much bezel and still have a notch on an iMac. You tell me. All right, the next article, it says your Apple Watch band is likely covered in bacteria, new study says. So these people are out there studying this stuff, and they say, I don't know who's paying them. And it says down here, let me just read down here. So bacteria found in the study were common skin residents. It says basically, staph infections. So it's going in here and saying like 85% of wristbands found different types of bacteria, including things that can cause staph infections or ammonia and stuff like that. So very serious bacteria, right? But then it goes on to say kind of like, obviously, you're wearing it, you're touching things, but everything else out there, including every single pole you touch as far as walking, railings and doors and everything else has the same stuff on it. So do we really need to scare people to the level that we are on everything in the world today? Oh no, and my watch band's now going to kill me, obviously, because it's got these these things on it. I'm just saying, we all understand that there's dangers out there, and this is one thing that I think we can deal with, right? I mean, wash it every once in a while. Do what you need to do. Change it out every once in a while. Buy them from Temu. They're like $3, but just don't worry about bacteria on your watch band. This next one is really funny or maybe scary. It says Snapchat AI went rogue, and it's just an interesting article and very kind of what AI can do and why you probably want to stay away from it. But in here it's saying that, I'll just summarize it really quickly, but people were talking with this chatbot powered AI, and it basically came back and it created a story, and it posted it, a story, the actual AI thing posted it, I think on Snapchat, and it showed pictures of the person's house, like their walls around them and stuff. So it actually had somehow taken it from a camera or something. I mean, without getting into it too deeply, it just basically created a story about the person it was talking to, and it posted some details about them that the person didn't want it to do, all right? So it's kind of went rogue, and they're saying, no, it was a glitch. It wasn't something where it just took over itself. It was a glitch in the software. Overall, though, is this, again, this is the problem with AI, is we don't know exactly where it's going to go. And in this case, it kind of took over and started posting pictures and different things about people that they didn't want out there. And I guess people learn their lessons pretty quickly. I don't know how to stop it. I don't know if there's a way, but just make sure you're careful out there when you use AI. All right, the next story, Chicago man tracks down stolen motorcycle with AirTag. Good news, like we said, that a lot of people are using them in cars and stuff, but there's a caveat to this, but police can't help recover it. So good old Chicago, I'm from the area in Chicago, and as you know, there's a lot of crime in the city, and I don't even go in there too much anymore. But long story short, this person tracked down their actual motorcycle to a garage, but the police came and they said, we can't open the garage, we can't do anything unless it's outside. So you can't do anything but claim your insurance on it and be done with it. So even though you had the location of it, it must drive you crazy because you can't do much with it unless you catch the person driving around and you can get a cop there in time. So just keep that in mind that they're great for that, but you got to catch that thing on the street and then get the cops in to get, recover your vehicle for you. All right, so let's wrap up the video, and I hope you guys like these stories. Subscribe if you can. I do kind of news stories every so often, maybe once every week or so, or 1 week and a half, and I do a whole bunch of other stories on Apple products, services, training, new products, old products, you name it. Check out my channel, and we'll talk to you soon. Peace.